Hello and welcome back to Scriptcase. My name is Jamie and I am your host from Scriptcase by Jamie. In today's video, we are going to dive into the new features regarding business intelligence in Scriptcase. Now, in the latest version of Scriptcase 9.10.010, several exciting new features have been introduced into the Scriptcase development environment. And some of these features are all business intelligence orientated. So these features will enhance the ability that we have as developers to, of course, create our applications, to generate the reports we need based on our clients' needs, as well as making it much easier to develop some awesome, powerful applications as well as solutions. So let's have a closer look at some of those. And one of the standout features is the ability to create, of course, highly customizable applications. And if you don't know that, then maybe you haven't been using Scriptcase long enough, because Scriptcase is jam-packed with business intelligence features, and not only business intelligence features, but many other typical web features that we would use and require. And you can see within this little flow chart that I've created here, now we have Scriptcase, and then we have the business intelligence capabilities within Scriptcase. Now, within the environment, you are able to create various applications, charts, summary, pivot tables, including metrics, reports, with dynamic grouping as well as dashboard. And you can see the free applications I have included here, because those free applications will pretty much give you all of these capabilities right here, right now. Now consider all of the other applications, the features and capabilities that they have. So Scriptcase itself is a powerhouse. So it's important to note that with these latest updates that we have within Scriptcase, that we are now able to tailor our applications a little more so that we can meet all of those requirements that we have with our clients. Generating charts in Scriptcase has never been easier, of course, with the latest updates, and even previously we just needed to click a button and we would be able to create a super comprehensive, visually appealing report without any effort, really. And yes, they're quite visually appealing. And if not, then you can make it visually appealing. It's up to you. So it doesn't matter whether it's financial reports or sales analytics or any other type of report that you need. Scriptcase makes it very easy and simple for you to generate these powerful looking charts and reports and data points that, of course, you will want to have. Now, Scriptcase is client-focused, and they do put the client at the forefront within the development process. So within this new version, we can create applications and reports that cater to our clients' requirements. Of course, I think I've mentioned that one a few times already. So we need to, of course, understand what our clients' requirements are so that we can address their unique needs, because every client is, of course, unique, and their needs typically are also. So with Scriptcase, you can deliver those solutions and also be able to stand out. So let's dive into Scriptcase and see what some of these new features are. So I will start off, first of all, by, of course, updating my Scriptcase, because there is very recently a new update available. So I will go ahead and update very quickly. We can check the change log as well to see what is available. And then to do that, I'll just come here to settings and Scriptcase update and update my environment. And that way I am making sure I have the latest version of Scriptcase with all of the latest features, the latest capabilities, and can, of course, apply everything that I'm going to be showing you in today's video. So if I search now, you will see that we will have some new updates here, and that will then also up the version of Scriptcase from the version I just mentioned, .10. So if I come up here, we have the version and it's 9.10.000.112. Okay, so we'll see what it is now, because of course now we will have another update. And then once we have found, of course, all of the updates that are available, and we can see there's 1,839, just click download and install updates, and then Scriptcase will go ahead and download and install them for you. And then you will need to log back in again, but then with that, you will also have the latest version of Scriptcase up and running. So there we go. If I now log out and log back in again, we will now have an update to our Scriptcase version. I am now running 9.10.013. Okay, so as I said before, 9.10.010 is really the earliest version from when we are talking. Okay, but today we have 13 there already. Okay, to start off with, then I will start by creating a whole new project, and I'll just run through project and I'll call this one BI and go next. And I do need to connect this to my database. Okay, so I will choose here the MySQL MariaDB, and I have root localhost, and then here I can then choose the database that I'm going to use. And for today's project, I think I will use here the samples, SE samples database, and click next. And then I can add multiple languages in here. So that will of course help with your project and your platform that you are going to have. And you can add as many languages as you need in here just by clicking the plus button, selecting the language, and then also including the regional settings that you want, because they are also customizable just like everything in Scriptcase. So if I go ahead and go next, and from here I will go ahead and choose the new theme that is available and set that as default, and remove the old Blueberry and go ahead and click the create button. Now, not only am I showing you then also the latest features for business intelligence, but also the latest theme, because it is quite pretty. Okay, so for business intelligence, as I mentioned previously, the main applications here is in fact the grid application. The dashboard, where we can create dashboards with it. If you need it, you can just click the button. There are plenty of videos on that. And there is also for dedicated charts if you want a chart application. For this video, I'm going to go ahead and choose the grid. And I will create that here on a table that is called, if I can find it, and I see I've actually chosen the wrong database, so that's an easy solution. So I'll just close the application, come up here to database, edit the connection, and I'm just going to delete this connection so there's no more connection anymore, and go ahead and create a new connection to the database that I should be using, and that is in fact here the sample database. I'll save that and now close that again, and now of course I have a new database connection there, so I can go ahead and create a new application, choose the grid again, and then this time I have here the comparison table I want to use, and I can generate at the same time when I choose to create the grid application, as well as many of the other applications that are available within Scriptcase. I can choose the table that I want to have defined, as well as the fields that I want to have selected. I can change the localization. I can generate the form to edit the grid data at the same time, as well as run the application to make sure it works, which make sure it typically always does. Anyway, so you can run the application straight away afterwards, or of course you can leave it open to edit it and so forth. Now on the right hand side here, you can customize your select statement further. If you don't know how to use SQL or not sure how to combine your tables, you can use the SQL builder here, which will be a great help for your data selections. So from here, I can then choose the tables that I want to then join together, for instance, and then go ahead, confirm that, indicate the fields, specify the join, the condition, and so forth, and that will then go ahead and generate a new query for me that I can then use for this grid generation. Now, we have some extra tabs here to specify for the fields that are going to be generated straight away for this grid application, whether we want to have those fields available during these specific situations, i.e. new, update, if it's available in the grid, in the search, as well as the data type can also be specified here. So for instance, for the client, if I know this is going to be an image, for instance, or a signature field, I can choose that then straight away before the grid is even created, and of course speed up and simplify some of the future processes. Within the grid, we can also change the theme. If I have multiple themes applied to my application, I can set a different theme for the grid application or per application as and when I generate it, or even after once it has been created. Now from here, I'll just go ahead and click the create button, and that grid, well, just like that, it has been generated, as well as the form, which I'll show you, because the form for this grid to edit the data has also been generated at the same time. Now, we're looking right now at the default grid that has been generated, and just here alone we have a ton of business intelligence features. Now, it is important to note that with this grid, we are able to generate enhanced reports. It has some super capabilities in here for advanced report generation. Now, the process is also simplified, ensuring that within a few clicks, you can have the grid, the chart, the data, the layout as you want it, allowing you really to focus on what matters within your applications, i.e., of course, providing high quality solutions to your clients. Now, let's go over this grid application just so we can see what some of these default features are before we continue on within the video. Okay, so at the top of the grid application here, we have a quick search functionality, and I can also click here the little arrow that is there, as well as then indicate the columns that I want to search in, as well as the condition. Now, all of these options we have available here, these are all fully customizable, and you can change these as and when you need to, or dynamically even within some of the applications, or within this application, should I say. Now, once you've specified how you want to maybe search here, I can choose I want to search within the continent column, and then I will search for Europe, for instance. And the search condition will apply. I'll go apply, and now I have all of Europe displayed here. And that is then also with the simple search. Over to the right here, you see there is an advanced search. We'll come to that one in a few moments. There are two searches available within the grid application. There is the advanced search module, which is in fact the search button here. And then we have the quick search, which is integrated directly within the grid. Now, to the right of that, we have some extra buttons here. We have columns, so we can actually specify which columns we maybe want to see here, or which we don't want to see. We have also sorting conditions that we can apply here, as well as export features all built into the grid application. So straight away, business intelligence is screaming. You can generate PDF reports, Word documents, Excel, XML, JSON code, CSV documents, print it out, whatever you like, and of course all built in directly to the grid application, and all you need to do is click your mouse. Now, the search button, as I mentioned a few moments ago, it is in fact the advanced search, and it can be disabled entirely. Now here we have also all the conditions that are set by default. You can adjust each of these or remove them entirely, not display them or display the conditions. It's entirely up to you. Again, all with a few clicks. Now here for the country, again, if I say equal, and here I will say, well, let's go England, see if we find England in here. If I go search, and there are no countries with England, it's probably going to be United Kingdom. There we go. So United Kingdom. And of course, well, we can do another search, maybe Spain. How about that one? And search contains Spain. And there we go. So this search functionality is pretty hardcore and super powerful. And as you see, once we search, I'll do that again, look. and search again, it adds the filters here within the filter bar, and we can add the filters directly here also, and increase that further by further enhancing our search functionality, or viewing our data points, should I say. It's all of that, isn't it? So all of these features are available there for you, built directly into this grid application, and you don't really have to do anything. And as I mentioned, you have also the form that is also generated for it straight away. And now from here, I can go ahead and customize this form as I need to, and then add new data into this chart or into this database. Now within the grid, we also have here the reload button, so we can reload our data, the exit button, and again, all of these options here and the bottom toolbar, they can all be customized and removed or adjusted and replaced and so on. So as we're at the bottom here, we have here the go to page. So from here, I can say go to page 4, and it will go to page 4. I can increase the amount of data points I'm viewing, as well as go forward, backwards to the end, and so forth, and then have here a total count of my data points. Okay, so towards the left side here, we have the detail view, and this we can then print out as a PDF document. And whenever we export to PDF, we always get these nice little built-in automated pop-up windows that come up and tell us, give us all of these options: color, black and white. I can change the format of the layout as well as the orientation. Go OK, and that document will then be created or generated for me just like that. It's pretty straightforward and of course very simple to use. Now to the right of the detail view, we have then also the edit button. So then from there we can then go ahead and use the form we viewed a few moments ago and edit the data that we have available for that data point within our grid here. And just like that, you can then start to customize the application much further. So the latest version of Scriptcase really does introduce some exciting new features that enhance the development process. And you may notice some of those because that is all involved within the filtering and the searching, and of course the display of some of these new features. And we can adjust and change all of those again within the grid application. So Scriptcase does continue to be a super valuable tool for developers as well as business owners and managers that need to have their data in front of them. So be sure to upgrade to the latest version of Scriptcase to take advantage of these new features and of course elevate your application development process. But we're not done yet, are we? So let's continue on and dive more into the grid application so we can see how we can customize this further. So within the grid application, as you see, we have a lot of options here. Now, we'll try to simplify it a little bit, but the most important features that we are looking at today are, of course, the business intelligence features. And as I had already explained, there are a load of new features within Scriptcase, and for sure, even some that you may be not aware of. So we had just looked at the grid application, and we had seen here the columns, the sorting, as well as the export features that we have available within the grid application. So let's have a quick look at those, because exporting your data from your grid application or from your platform, should I say, is typically very important. So within the grid application, we have here first of all the columns and sorting options here, where we can adjust the options that we have available within the grid, whether the fields allow for sorting. Here we can enable and disable them, and then those grids, or those columns should I say, will no longer allow for sorting. So for instance, here I can choose the quantity, price unit and total price, and now those fields will no longer be able to sort within the grid application. So now if I come here to sort, you see they are no longer available here. We still have country, and of course with that we can still customize the data that we have within our grid just by using the sorting fields. And to enable those again, I can just use my control key, hold it down and select all of them that I want and press the on or off button again, and it will enable or disable them. Just below that, we can also define the default ascendance or descendance or sorting order of each of the fields that we have available. So do check that out. Below that, we have more advanced sorting options. For the columns, it really is a simple drag and drop from one side to the other, or should I say again, a click from one side to the other, and then those fields will become available within the grid application and here the column arrangement. And with that then, we can then add further data points within our grid application or remove them as and when we need to, or as we need for our specific view. Now, the most important part of the top toolbar there is, of course, the export functionality. Now here for the first email export option we have the option to set an API. Now, if you do not have one, you can click here the edit button and you can simply add a new API point into your project, and it will be then applied as and when required throughout your project whenever you need it. You just have to call it. You have many APIs here available: Google Authenticator, PayPal, Clickatel, SMTP, email, and Mandrill, and others. And of course, you can go ahead and add your own. Okay, so once the API has been added, you will be able to select it here from the drop-down list. So now if I go ahead and actually choose one, and here if I say I will use here the Amazon API, and then I will close this, and then here I can refresh on my grid, and now the Amazon API that I have pre-configured is now available for email notification sending or report sending within this application. And that is very simple to apply. I can then also specify the default values here for the to sending address if there is a copy, add then also a CC in here, add a blind copy if I wanted to, and then also customize the title and body of our export. Now do be aware that we are using language keys in here. Lang underscore is always a language key, and those you will find here within the application language. And you have here what it is actually telling you. So the blue here is actually the translation from here, the application language, and then here the comparison, as we see here, is the written text. The next export option we have available is PDF, and within the PDF options we have quite some awesome features here, because we're able to even export the PDF and encrypt it with a password, or lock it with a password. So here I will add password as my password, and now whenever I run my grid application and I want to export to a PDF, it will then go ahead and request a password for me. So if I click OK, and then once the PDF has been generated, we can view it or download it. And of course, as you see, I'm now requested to add my password before I can view the exported PDF. And those features are directly built into the grid application and configured right here within your grid application. Okay, so with the password set, you're also able to select here the columns, choose also the chart depth output, so charts can also be generated within the PDF, and we will check that out a little later on. At the bottom here, we're able to further customize the PDF export, which options are available, as well as the modules within the chart. So here, for instance, if we want to export the chart as well, we would need to export here the chart export modules for the chart as well, and that will then also enable the chart generate for the grid by default. We have many other options here for the PDF format, which we can then also specify previously, the orientation, the print color, as well as titles and how many records there should be, the formatting of the document, and much more. The next export option is then Word, and Word we have similar features where we can also apply a password to the Word document that has been exported, apply the columns again, open it directly within Word if we choose to do that. We can even embed it within a document or create a zip file when there are images, depending on whether they are images or i.e. chart, to be displayed within your grid. In those cases, those would be then exported as an image, and then you can choose whether it is embedded in the inside of the document or whether it is attached in a zip file. We have many other options here again for the Word configuration. So I can change here, for instance, just like within the PDF application, the print type. So if I go ahead and run the grid application again now and go export and go Word, we have here colored password and then the columns that we can choose. And then back here, we can then remove then maybe the print type and the summary. We'll just leave here the export, and we can then choose here the print color as black and white, and I will deselect these options here and go ahead and run, and then we can see what the difference is when we now go ahead to export to Word. So now I have a password field here, so I can set the password. I'm missing also the field that we had hidden, and you see many other options are gone. So if I add now password in here, go OK, and then my Word document will then also be exported and available for me then to view, customize, analyze, and so forth. And just like that, then we have then our Word document, which is then downloaded, and we can then go ahead and open that. Okay, so our next export option is then CSV. Again, we have the option to export with a password. We can configure again how the export functions, whether there are lines separated, columns in there, text delimited, add labels and so forth, as well as then the separation. And we can even add a label here for the columns within the export. For Excel, we have here again the export with password available. We can open it again directly within Excel, choose the columns again, configure again how the export functions or the export functionality within the grid application. We can choose the format here also, and again export with or without the totals. For XML, we can again export with password, select all the columns, open within XML directly or save the file, and again we can customize the options available to the end user during export. For JSON, we can also again apply a password to the file and again configure all of the options. And the print and RTF are very similar, just with relevant options for those export features.